Excuse me. I'm still Skip. I'm still living at the same place as I was at the beginning of the meeting. At the end of your message for the public comment, if you have something that you need to talk to your administrator. Years ago, Kurt Weber was the chair. And I remember going to the meeting when the present policy was put into place, and I mentioned this last year, where you had to talk to the teacher, and then to the assistant principal, then the principal, and then the superintendent. And that's where the chain stopped. The school board voted it in, and essentially Kurt Weber gladly said, this is the way it's going to be. And I said, outstanding, because at the first public comment session I said, you have just, with this policy, ruled yourselves, school board members, from ever talking to the people who put you into those chairs and have concerns that you will never, ever hear and you will never address with those parents. I brought this up last year over the 2 questions, and I said, when will my elected representatives, because I really shouldn't even say school board members, you're supposed to be elected representatives accountable to the people, other than just at election time. I've been a political blogger for over 16 years. I can go and talk to any of my elected representatives, all the way down to the town level, this level, all the way up, and talking with New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, who knows me by first name. They all will respond to questions. I have over 250 stories about school boards across the nation already on Granite Rock. I have 200 more stories that I have yet to write. I just keep collecting them. It seems like there is a national cabal where school boards have decided we're not going to interact with parents. We're not going to interact with voters. We're not going to interact with those taxpayers who actually fund our operations. As I said before with Policy JBAB, it turns the relationship between child and parent upside down. With the continued silence and continued inability to get answers from my elected representatives, I think is a disaster. Now, when I brought this up with the last board, there was some talk about when do we set up a time period where we would actually make answers to questions that we have, knowing that you're not going to have all the answers, because some questions get rather complicated. Some require knowledge that I don't have that information at hand. But at the same time, even the smallest questions are dismissed. I'm doing this and saying this right now because Christine, who talked during the first comment period, asked the same thing. When do we get to address you? And I felt for that poor mom from Belmont with the 4 football athletes. It's like talking into the wind. I'm not the only one that's pointed out that why should I come? Why should any parents come to this when they're ignored? I don't think that's the role of elected representatives. I think that idea that was brought up the last time, and I think Kyle, you were the one who brought it up, to have a time when parents, voters, and taxpayers can ask and get questions back from their elected representatives was a good one. But it seems to have dropped into a black hole. I haven't heard about it. I haven't read about it. And I just wonder where it went. I'm not going to ask when you're going to have it, because I'm quite sure I'm going to get the same response that I did earlier. And if that sounds a little bit snarky, it is. It's a little late. I'm not feeling well. But history tells me I won't get an answer, at least tonight. But I do ask and admonish you to say, why is it from all elected representatives, all up and down the state level and the federal level, how come it's school board members that refuse to engage in a give and take with their voters? Thank you.
Thank you, Skip.
Croc TV.